mid-20th century, the first scuba technology allowed deep-sea divers in the Mediterranean to reach previously impossible depths. And after descending into the Mesophotic zone, an ocean region spanning 30 to 150 meters, these aquanauts made a remarkable discovery. Up to 90 meters below the surface, where sometimes only 0.1% of surface sunlight can reach, they found a forest of huge kelps, over twice the size of a giraffe. Today, kelps are known to be the largest marine plants, and there had already been talk of such giants being pulled up from enormous depths in the late 19th century. But following the Mediterranean discovery, fishermen, naval officers, and scientists began dredging up more massive mesophotic kelps in the Philippine Sea and off the coasts of Brazil, Australia, and North America. There were even claims of plants this large being brought up from as deep as 150 meters. That's deeper than the Great Pyramid of Giza is tall. These forests should be impossible. Like any other plant, kelps require light to grow. Yet these specimens grow as large as, and often even larger than, their shallow counterparts, all with less light than they should require just to stay alive. Then again, the Mesophotic is the border between two worlds, one where life depends on the energy provided by sunlight, and another where life has learned to live in darkness. So how have these large, light-dependent organisms adapted to thrive at such depths? Researchers are still investigating the answer to this question, but they do have theories. Mesophotic kelps photosynthesize more efficiently than their shallow counterparts, and some have suggested this might be due to having very large surface area relative to biomass, which allows deep kelps to maximize light harvesting and minimize respiration. By taking these adaptations into account, existing research still suggests that deep kelp forests don't photosynthesize enough to sustain their growth and respiration, even at peak sunlight. So the real key to their success might be thriftiness. Photosynthesis is dependent on four main ingredients: sunlight, water, nutrients, and CO2. And while sunlight is severely limited, the deep ocean is full of water and nutrients. It's also full of CO2. However, most marine CO2 is in a bicarbonate form that requires lots of energy to convert. Most aquatic plants have evolved mechanisms to handle this energy-intensive process, but deep kelps take the easy way out. Since their deeper waters have more CO2, which doesn't need to be converted, they get their fill through low-energy, passive diffusion. Mesophotic kelps also save energy by not having to produce molecular sunscreen, which plants typically need to avoid damage from excess sunlight. These aren't the only tricks deep kelps use to conserve energy. In the darker winter months, these plants suppress their respiration and subsist on the carbon reserves they stocked up over the summer. This adaptation is similar to how shallow polar kelp forests survive months of darkness. But while mesophotic kelp's access to sunlight also changes with the seasons, temperature is fairly consistent in the deep ocean, so they don't have to contend with extreme temperature swings. This lets these forests act as a climate refuge, providing a stable home for species in shallower zones fleeing marine heatwaves. Kelps also draw down some of the atmospheric CO2 that causes climate change. In fact, kelp detritus will keep photosynthesizing and drawing down CO2 as it drifts to the ocean floor, though researchers are still investigating its exact impact on the carbon cycle. There's still lots to be learned about the ocean's hidden forests. In fact, we still don't even know how much of the sea floor they cover. Since most kelp forests are invisible to satellites, researchers need to use cutting-edge underwater robots to find the answer. These remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, can explore and film depths far beyond the reach of humans. And with their help, marine biologists have already found new kelp forests, such as those off the tropical coast of the Galapagos Islands. But given how many surprises these impossible forests have already revealed, who knows what other mysteries they're hiding.
Ready to keep learning? Watch these videos to either challenge what you think you know or learn more about what you don't. Subscribe and stay curious.